Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Daysofourlives, May 13, 2026. So we started off with Gwen and EJ. So we haven't seen Gwen on this scene for a while, especially after this whole development with Lexi coming back. So she's asking for updates on their patient, and he told her that it's good and bad that Lexi has come back to the living. You know, it was miraculous, the drug worked. So she's like, where is she now? So he said that's the bad news. She's in hospital. So now more people are aware of her being alive. So she came out of the tunnels and came into the will reading and crashed it. Everybody saw that she was alive. Now she is worried about how it's going to be scrutinized, how people are going to come after them, and that maybe, you know, they will want to file some charges against them. And she doesn't want to go back to Statesville for a long time. So he said that don't worry about that. It's all covered. He has a group of lawyers that will make sure that he was staying in the fine lines of ethics. He wasn't breaching any laws or anything like that. So he says to her, however, that given that people are speaking to him now about, you know, this drug and what they're willing to pay for it, you know, we're talking millions. So he's thinking about it in another way that, all right, he's going to cut Gwen a deal, but at the end of the day, Gwen going to have to stay to the next phase. So, of course, she is upset because she wants to stay on. They started this thing together. She was the one who funded it with Dimitri's money, of course. And he said it wasn't really your investment, but at the end of the day, look, you could take this deal or just, you know, don't get anything at all. So she's upset. You know, she knew that he would have screwed her over, but she thought, you know, she would have given the benefit of the doubt. So anyways, she did also find out that EJ said Leo was the one who went in the tunnel, tried to track down Dr. Rolf, and that's how Lexi was able to come out. She's surprised that, like, you know, Leo would do this and, you know, damage everything for them in that way. But hey, no surprise there with Leo. She shouldn't be surprised. She should know that that is how Leo operates. Anyways, moving on. Steve and Kayla are having a stroll and they talk about the whole development with Stephanie, Alex, and the new baby. And, you know, they ask, you know, he asks, how is she doing? How is she holding up? So she said that she's actually gone back out there to work and just, you know, working on herself. So he said that he would actually run over there or give her a call, something like that. He also talked about how miraculous this news is about Lexi and how happy this must make Abe and Theo feel. So he asked Kayla any new developments, just let him know. So Chanel is in the pub and she's on the phone with Johnny. So apparently Johnny's getting discharged today. And she also talked about getting to her biopsy. So at some point, Alex comes in and they chit chat for a bit. So he heard about what happened to Johnny and that it was scary stuff. And she's just glad that he's okay and that they've made it past it. And, you know, she also said congratulations are in order for you because I saw Joy and your baby. She's beautiful. So how is everything going with you and Stephanie? So he said it has definitely changed a lot of things for me and Stephanie, but I'm happy about this news. And she said, yeah, you gotta really take time to really get to know your daughter, and hopefully me and you can set up a play date for our kids to get to know each other. So he liked the idea of that. He also asked her about, you know, I know this must make you feel awkward because Joy is staying as we planned. So she said, I mean, yes, it's awkward, but in the day, that's the least of their worries. So he's asking her, is everything okay with you in the pregnancy? So she said, yeah, it's a lot between me being pregnant, having a toddler, and then, you know, the whole incident with Johnny and taking care of him and staying at my mom's and A's place. It is crowded and we have to stay there while we wait for the kitchen to be renovated. So it's a whole lot on top of a lot. So he understands that some point Chanel leaves. Now Paulina is just beside herself because of everything that's been happening in the past 24 hours with Lexi, and also overhearing her husband tell his late, now alive wife that he loves her too. So she's like, okay, it's really over for us. It's Splitsville. So Marlena sees that she's upset. She comes on and sit with her, and, you know, Paulina spills her guts to her about how Lexi's alive and how Abe and Thea has been at the bedside, and she just knows that things are not going to be the same. And she confesses to Marlena that, she knew about it for a while. She was the one who saw her in the pod, and, she couldn't say anything about it because she didn't want to disrupt the experiment. And even though EJ really had her hands tied, she couldn't really, disturb it because she doesn't want to hurt Theo or Abe or cost them the opportunity to know their loved ones. So Marlena understands it and tells her that what she did was selfless and you shouldn't worry about it. Abe does love you. And she said, well, now that Lexi is back, like, that's the love of his life. She has been there. They have really built a life together. They have had a family together. So who am I to compete with that? So Marlena tries to assure her that, she should not count herself out. Abe married her. Abe is in love with her. But Paulina doesn't believe that. Chanel comes to the hospital to, help with Johnny's discharge. She sees her mom. She tells her, but she can tell her mom is upset. So her mom tells her everything that's been going on, that Lexi's alive. And she's surprised that Lexi's alive and, how it's affecting her. And she also remembered that her mom told her weeks ago that she had a dilemma that she was struggling with her conscience. So she now knows that is the reason. So she's just, Paulina is just upset about how, maybe she doesn't have a home to come to, and maybe, she and Abe are done for good. And, of course, Chanel is also trying to assure that Abe loves you. And even though, he and Lexi had a life, like, that was so long ago, so she shouldn't be worried about it. And, you and Abe need to really talk it out. At some point, Abe comes and Chanel leaves to take care of Johnny's discharge papers. We'll get into their conversation after that. So Marlena and Kayla chit-chat as well, and they talk about Stephanie going back to work, and she's happy to hear that. And, Marlena told her that she knew about Joy and Kelsey and Alex and how is that affecting Stephanie. And she said, Kayla said, look, it's a lot to process, and now she's a step-grandmother, but they're going to get through it. Now, she said that, she knows she can't ask about Stephanie's sessions with her, but just asking her, hey, is she good? So Maya said that she's a strong young woman and she will definitely get through all of this. They talk briefly about the whole will reading that Marlena skipped out on it because she just doesn't want to deal with Stephanie's shenanigans. She decided to skip it out initially, but then she went, and then she just was regretting it overall because she came there, she got a chest set, she left it there because she doesn't want to play his games no more. And, she just felt like she shouldn't have went there. Now, they talk about Lexi coming back, and, even though Lexi was a colleague of both of theirs and they're happy that she's alive and how they mourned her when she did pass, it's a rough subject because they've gotten to know Paulina both and they're feeling bad for her because what does it really mean for her and Abe's marriage? So Alex is at the door. Well, he's at home and he gets a knock on the door, and Steve. So Abe was saying, if you were coming to, Alex was saying, if you're coming to see Stephanie, you missed her, she's at work. So he said, yeah, I know, I just spoke to her. I came here to see you. So he's like, oh gosh, are you here to give me the fifth degree about the whole thing with Joy and the baby? So he said, no, you're assuming wrong. I'm here to just really tell you that, I'm here for you. Me and Kayla are here for you and Stephanie and your daughter. And at the end of the day, I applaud you for stepping up and doing the right thing by Joy and Kelsey and being a great dad. At the end of the day, that's all I can ask for you, and that you pride her as my daughter. You don't leave her out. She's not a second thought. So he assures him that Stephanie is his top priority and he's going to do his best by her. He's going to be there for her. He's going to support her as he is for his daughter and get to know her. So that's all Steve wanted. And I was really impressed by this conversation because, Steve used to be hypocritical. And I love how he came to Alex as, not just a father-in-law, but the way how he came across is like, okay, a voice of reason. He went through this whole thing with Kayla years ago with Ava and now find out that he had a son by Ava, and how that kind of messed up his marriage for a bit. But then they came on track, they stuck together, they welcomed Trip into the family. And it wasn't easy, as he said. It's a lot of challenges that's gonna come, but he doesn't expect Alex to be perfect, because he made mistakes as well, especially with Trip. And Trip treated Kayla a certain type of way. If we've been watching for a while, we know what that was. But it took time and growth on all parties involved. So he knows that he and Stephanie will get through this. It just takes a lot of work. And he looks at Alex as a son, and he knows that he loves his daughter, and that he was the way how he was when Stephanie was kidnapped. It shows a lot to his character, shows that he really does love his daughter. So he's there for anything. And if, he asks Alex, like, look, if you need anything, just let me and Kayla know. We're here for you, Stephanie, and your daughter. And I really liked how he included, his and Joy's daughter into this situation, because it just shows growth. And I was just pleasantly pleased with the whole convo. Now, Abe and Paulina had a little chat shortly after he was in the room with Lexi. We'll get into that after. So, it's real awkward between the two of them. And Paulina's like, oh, so Lexi really is alive. She's really, here. So I said, yeah, and, vitals are good and all of that. So they tried to address the elephant in the room, but it didn't go nowhere because, Abe said that it's a lot to process, and I'm sorry about how this is affecting you. So she said, he said that he loves her, and she said, you have to really be there for your wife. So Abe is like, you are my wife. So she said, but she's your wife too, and what are we gonna be, Three's Company? So he said, no, I'm still trying to sort out everything. And she said, no, you know what, go be with your wife, she needs you, and I'm urging you to do so. So, he does go after, hesitating, and she's upset beside her. So Chanel comes back. Chanel's like, what Eve said to you? So she said, I told him to just go be with his wife, and, he decided to go. So I don't even know what's going to happen here. So she was just sobbing. But honestly, I think Paulina should just stick to the funny comedic antics she does, because I don't think she does crying and emotional scenes really well. And that's just her as the actress. Watching her and Sister and other shows before 227, all that, she's not really the type of person that has range. She's more for the comedic antics, and that's just my opinion on that. I don't think she can really do the emotional cry scenes really well. It's just overacting, over the top for me. I mean, she's over the top in general, but this was just too cringy to watch. What do you guys think? So earlier, before that whole thing happened between him and Paulina, he and Theo were at Lexi's bedside just talking about how this whole thing happened. And he's kind of just mad that EJ would just strong arm Theo like this. But Theo said, look, you didn't have no choice, and you can't really blame EJ because essentially, he didn't say it, but essentially he couldn't say nothing until Lexi was really she was really going to make it. So he said, as much as he despised that man, he is forever grateful to him for bringing Lexi back to their lives. Now, as they were talking, Kayla comes in, and Kayla gives him the full report that everything seems good. Her vitals seem good. Her neurological signs look good. And Theo asked if her memory will come back. She remembered him, and she said she has a strong feeling that will happen. Her neurological signs are very telling that she may remember, and her reflexes are good. All of that is good. So the DNA test is a match, because they compared it to some old dental records, and turns out that she's actually Lexi. Now, Kayla leaves, and at some point, Abe does leave to go talk to Paulina, because of course he can't just put it off forever. Now, Theo and his mom had some time to talk, and he was just, talking about how he can't wait to really share, so many memories that she's missed. She wakes up and she is kind of alarmed at him, but he assures her that he is her son. And she said, like, my son is a little boy. So I said, you've missed out on a lot. It's been 15 years. It's 2026 now, and I'm a grown man. on. So he reminded her of some memory that he had when he was a kid and he was struggling with school and fitting in, and she gave him a stamp, and that was how he was able to get calm throughout. And she said, yeah, you're definitely my boy. So they hugged and they bonded, and he was sharing about his life, what he'd been doing in South Africa and all that. There comes Abe comes in, and Lexi is saying, hey, our boy is definitely grown into a handsome young man, and he's like, he's surprised himself. So she noticed that he has his wedding ring on, and she's saying, is this the same wedding ring from years ago? You still kept it on? So he said, no, I've remarried. Like, it's been a couple years. I was by myself for a while, but then eventually moved on. So, of course, Lexi is really upset by the news. But, hey, I'm glad that he didn't string it out, because, hey, they're going to be stressed out by it, or she's going to go into a coma or any kind of excuse. Because, back in the day, that's the excuse that they run with when somebody is coming back from the dead and they had, maybe amnesia or something like that. They didn't want to tell the person the truth that, hey, they moved on, hey, they had a child by somebody else, and try to spare them the bad news or the truth itself. I liked how Abe just told her, just ripped the band-aid off and told her, but how is it going to really affect him, her, and Paulina? Definitely a lot to work out, but we're here for it. Now, that is it for today's episode, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys tomorrow.